Brooke Bailey is mourning the loss of her 25-year-old daughter, Kayla. The Basketball Wives star captions a September 25th Instagram carousel, "Forever my baby, pretty black, aka Kayla Nicole Bailey. This is not a goodbye. Mommy will see you soon."
When the lights dimmed, the cameras stopped rolling, and the glamour of reality TV faded away. What remained was a mother facing the most devastating moment of her life. Brooke Bailey, known for her role on Basketball Wives, always appeared to have it all under control. But nothing could have prepared her for what happened in the early hours of September 25, 2022.
Her Instagram bio reads, Kayla Nicole Bailey, March 2nd, 1997 to September 25th, 2022.
At 4, her only daughter, 25-year-old Kayla Nicole Bailey, was involved in a car crash that would change everything. Kayla, full of dreams and ambition, lost her life in that accident, and with her passing, Brooke's entire world came crashing down. Kayla was more than just the daughter of a reality TV star. She was intelligent, driven, and had a bright future ahead of her. She was building a name for herself, running her own business, and stepping into the spotlight with grace and confidence. But in just one moment, all of that disappeared.
My baby girl is so loved by all of you. The love and support my family has received today is unreal and so appreciated.
As soon as news of the accident broke, social media was flooded with messages of sorrow and disbelief. Friends, fans, and celebrities posted their condolences. Rapper Nicki Minaj was among the first to express her heartbreak, writing a touching tribute to Kayla. Brooke, in a deeply emotional Instagram post, wrote, "Forever my baby, pretty black, aka Kayla Nicole Bailey. This is not a goodbye. Mommy will see you soon." But even in the middle of all the public grief, something didn't sit right. People who saw the crash scene described it as strange. It didn't look like a typical accident. There were no signs of the car trying to swerve or stop. Witnesses said it seemed like the crash wasn't caused by a mistake. It looked intentional. That alone made people question what had really happened. As investigators dug deeper into the case, they found something even more troubling. Just minutes before the crash, Kayla had made a phone call not to a friend, not to 911, but to her mother. And what she said in that short call raised even more questions. According to sources familiar with the investigation, Kayla sounded shaken and upset during the call. Her voice trembled, and she said something that would haunt Brooke forever. "Why do you hide everything? I'm done. I can't carry this anymore." Brooke's reply was equally chilling. "I accept all." 4 words. No questions. No explanations. Just that. It was more than a goodbye. It sounded like a final plea for the truth. But that truth never reached Kayla in time. To understand the pain behind those words, you need to understand Kayla's life. She was born on March 2, 1997, and raised by Brooke, who worked hard to give her daughter a good life. From a young age, Kayla saw her mother hustle and succeed, and that same fire lived in her too. She was determined, hardworking, and full of ambition. She wasn't waiting for chances to come to her. She went out and made them. Kayla ran a successful hair salon in Memphis called K&B In. She was known in her community not just for her beauty, but also for her business sense. She was becoming more well-known as a model and influencer too. Her future was bright, and it was clear she was carving her own path. On social media, Brooke often posted about Kayla, showing pride and love. To the outside world, it looked like they had a close, supportive relationship. But behind those photos and posts was a more complicated story. Like many mothers and daughters, their bond had its ups and downs. There was one part of Kayla's life that always felt like a missing piece: her father. She never really knew him, and when she asked Brooke about him, the answers were either vague or non-existent. The conversation would always hit a wall. Kayla didn't want drama, she wanted truth. But all she got was silence. Those close to Kayla said she had been quietly searching. She wanted to know who her father was, where she came from, and why her mother kept it hidden. She wasn't trying to stir up trouble, she just needed answers to understand herself. But each time the topic came up, It was met with avoidance or shut down completely. And on the night of the crash, it seemed that all those years of quiet pain finally boiled over. Just before the car hit, Kyla called Brooke one last time. Her voice was full of hurt. One person who heard the recording said she sounded emotionally exhausted. In that moment, she asked her mom, "Why do you keep secrets from me?" and added, "I'm tired. I can't keep doing this." These weren't words of anger, they were words of heartbreak. Kyla wasn't just talking about her career or her daily struggles. She was speaking from a deeper place, the hurt of feeling like a part of her identity had always been kept from her. She wanted the truth, and she asked for it in what turned out to be her final moments. Brooke's answer, "I accept all," was cold and unexplained. There was no follow-up, no comfort, just those words. It felt like she was giving up, surrendering to the weight of everything left unsaid. What was she accepting? The years of silence? The pain her daughter carried? Or was it something darker? After the crash, everything shifted. Investigators weren't convinced it was just an accident. The crash site, the emotional context, and the phone call all pointed to a more complex story. Eventually, Brooke was brought in for questioning. Under the pressure, she finally admitted something she had kept hidden for over 2 decades. She told the investigators the identity of Kyla's father, something she had never told her daughter. According to Brooke, Kyla's biological father was a Nigerian man with a long criminal history. Not just small crimes, serious offenses that had caught the attention of federal authorities. Brooke met him when she was much younger, during a period in her life she described as reckless. She said they had a brief relationship, and when she found out she was pregnant, she made the decision to cut ties completely. She never told him about Kyla. She never wanted him involved. Brooke said she thought she was protecting her daughter, that she was doing the right thing by keeping him out of their lives. But by doing so, she also kept Kyla from ever knowing the truth. Over the years, Kyla had more and more questions. She asked about her father, but Brooke always avoided the conversation. That silence built a wall between them. By the time of the crash, their relationship was strained. Kyla felt like she was living a life full of unanswered questions, and Brooke knew that her refusal to talk had pushed them apart. What made that day even more heartbreaking is that Kyla was supposed to start a new chapter. On September 25, 2022, the very day she died, she was planning to launch her own beauty brand, KMBBBB. It wasn't just a business. It was her way of showing the world who she was, stepping out of her mother's shadow, and making her mark. She had high hopes for that launch. Some said she was even hoping her father would see her success, reach out, or acknowledge her somehow. Even a simple phone call would have meant the world. But instead, she got silence once again. And that silence broke her. In that final call to her mother, she said, "I'm done begging for answers." Those words marked the end of her search, the end of her hope, and maybe the beginning of her final choice. When the news of Kyla's death spread, fans of Basketball Wives and people across the internet shared their grief and confusion. One person wrote, "You don't just crash like that after calling your mom in tears. Something's off." Others agreed, questioning why Kyla had called Brooke instead of emergency services if it had simply been an accident. Rumors and theories started to swirl. Some believed the crash might have been planned. Others thought Kyla may have discovered something that pushed her over the edge. Investigators looked into claims that someone may have been following her that night, but no solid proof ever surfaced. In the weeks following the tragedy, Brooke finally spoke out. She posted a heartfelt video, opening up about the secrets she had kept and the guilt she carried. She said fear was a big reason why she stayed quiet, fear of judgment, fear of what the truth would do to their bond, and fear of letting her daughter see a side of her past she had tried so hard to bury. But in the end, she realized that silence was her greatest mistake. She thought she was doing the right thing by shielding Kyla from a painful truth. But what her daughter really needed was honesty, not perfection, just the truth. Knowing that Kyla died still searching for answers, still feeling lost about her own story, was a weight Brooke now carried. It was the kind of guilt that no public sympathy or time could heal. Some things can't be undone. The case itself is still being reviewed, quietly behind the scenes. There may never be a full explanation for what happened in those final moments. Was it just a terrible accident? Or was it something more, a silent cry for clarity? A moment when hidden truths became too heavy to bear? For Brooke, life will never be the same. She lost her daughter, but she also lost the chance to give her what she needed most: honesty, trust, and the right to know where she came from. And for the rest of us, Kyla's story is a painful reminder of how silence can sometimes cause more harm than the truth ever could.